folks, it's that time of the year again where we head up to Augusta, Georgia for the Masters. And joining us on USG today, we've got Dan Kostelski, Head of Sports Betting at Sun International. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for the invite. I appreciate it.
Really good to have you. And our resident numbers guy, Sean Nicholas. Sean, good to have you back on the show again.
Yeah, good to be back and good to get stuck into the numbers.
Well, guys, that time of the year again. First major of the year, the Masters. It's, obviously one that everybody wants to get off to a good start in. But the world of golf right now, there's a lot of upheaval, a lot of new names coming to the fore, a lot of the form guys from past years struggling a little bit for form. Dan, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why the odds are pretty much showing that the old names are the favorites. We've got Phil Mickelson, we've got Jason Day at the top, we've got Adam Scott, and that's reflecting in the prices and the betting. So the Masters is always big for the book. It's the biggest golf tournament that we have by a country mile. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Sean, what are your thoughts? Obviously there's a lot of experience needed to be successful at the Masters. Does that have an impact on those names being the usual, the smart bets?
Definitely on. If you look at the stats on it, 11 of the 15 last winners, they were top 30 in the year before they won, which shows that it's experienced head that wins this. It's not a fly-by-night, not a rookie. So I think that's going to continue in 2014.
There is no sort of substitute for experience around Augusta, and for me, I'm very interested to see the Patrick Reeds, Jimmy Walkers. They've had tremendous success over the last 6 to 8 months, but the Masters presents you with a different kind of challenge in that. And stats will tell a story, but it's all about strategy there, and I think that's going to be key to pay attention to. Well, Dan, the Masters is a marquee event, and it must attract a huge volume of sports bettors. Is there a particular reason for that?
Yeah, I think it's simply because the punter is looking for that one golf event where they can get good odds. Even the favorite is going to be 8 or 9 to 1, and yeah, they find that the Masters, it's the first tournament of the year, and most non-punters will actually place some bets on the Masters, and also it's because, like what we discussed earlier, it's the fact that there's familiar names at the leaderboard in second or third round, something along those lines. So we have quite a bit of betting that happens pre-tournament, but certainly as the tournament goes on, we have people that come back and kind of place bets on the day 2 winners and the day 3 winners for the rest of the tournament.
Well, Sean, we've touched on it earlier that experience is absolutely crucial in order to be successful at Augusta, but the stats don't lie. And as we look at potential winners going forward, what are the stats telling us about players to look out for?
Well, looking at Augusta, what you need someone with solid putting and then excellent, driver accuracy. So on the stats, that's what I'd look at. And going on form players coming into the tournament, the two that really struck my mind are Bubba Watson and Dustin Johnson. Just looking at Bubba, he was the 2012 winner. A lot of people expected him to kick on from that, but he never quite did. He did win the Northern Trust a few weeks back, so I think he's just hitting form at the right time, and he knows what it takes to win at Augusta, so he's one I'd back this week. And then Dustin Johnson, the stats are insane with him. He was tied 13th in 2013. He did lead at one stage. Well, he was second at Northern Trust. He's second on the driving distance, second in greens in regulation, and then he's got the best average in scoring and birdies going into Augusta, so he's a definite back for me.
Well, traditionally at the Masters, long hitters and players that can move the ball both ways are going to be successful. The ability to hit the ball high, to carry the ball into those tough greens, and that's something that Dustin Johnson is particularly good at. And I think his putting is really stabilized over the last couple of years. You don't win once a year for the last 6 or 7 years if you don't take care of that part of the game. But a player that interests me, and a question for you, Dan, is Jordan Spieth. He's come out of college and just set the world alight, and really pretty much a phenomenon. And he was particularly successful at the President's Cup, and getting more and more comfortable as well with this. How do you go about setting the numbers with a player like that?
With regards to Jordan, he had a pretty good last year, so he's a mildly familiar name.
Yeah.
But we're not the first ones in the world to come out with the market on Masters. So we do look at the global prices, and those global prices are really just simply dictated by the bigger names. But Jordan, because of that familiarity that most people will have with him and his name, he will be a little bit shorter than some of the more recent winners, some of the young guys that have won more recently. But yeah, the Tiger, he just, if his name is there, everybody just always kind of puts money on whether or not he's going to win, and that in of itself drives the price down. So, Adam Scott's been playing pretty well, last week, and he's certainly looking good, and he's our favorite right now at 15-2. But, we got Jason Day and we've got Phil, and those guys are, because they're household names, they're going to be a little shorter. Charles Schwartzel right now is 35 to 1, so he's the shortest South African. Louis, I think, is 55 to 1. Ernie, believe it or not, on most international books, he would probably be 250, 200 to 1, something along those lines. But because South Africans are familiar with him, familiar with his name, they see him on the list at 110 to 1, they're going to take him. So he's going to be a little shorter on our book, and most of the South Africans will be shorter on our book than most of the international prices.
Okay, so there's a lot of sentimentality involved as well.
Without a doubt.
Well, when you talk about the South Africans, you can't look past Charles Schwartzel and Louis Oosthuizen. Charles, a winner in 2011, and Louis was robbed in 2012. It was just the most amazing round that he put together, and he just kept it going right into the playoff, and it was just that miraculous shot on the 10th that snatched it away from him by Bubba Watson. But I think both have got the game to be successful here, and I think it's also the type of tournament that's going to naturally bring the best out of them. I think when they arrive at Augusta, they know it's a tournament that they've got to look to be successful at, and it's just, I think the whole vibe there is it brings the best out of you. But Sean, the South Africans have had great success over the last 5 years. What are the odds on our boys doing it this year?
Well, firstly, just look at the odds when they won. I mean, when Schwartzel won, he was about 110 to 1, and then when Immelman won, he was about 150. So, Dan, when a South African wins at those odds, what does it mean for you?
It always means that the book loses. In any major, if any South African wins, actually in any golf tournament, we always lose. That public sentiment is always there around the South Africans. Fortunately, Charles Schwartzel is going to be 35 to 1, a little shorter than some of your kind of the average price out there. But yeah, I mean, we usually lose pretty badly.
Well, it's going to take a particular kind of game to be successful at Augusta this year. You're going to have to hit the ball very high. You're going to have to be able to control your ball flight. So we're going to cross over to my dad now and get some thoughts on how to be successful around this golf course and produce a score that's going to get you the green jacket.